Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Anuradha, go ahead. Yeah.
Some people already left. But anyway, it's just a reminder that every Saturday, Indian Standard Time, at 7 o'clock,
Yeah.
we do the Gita Abhyasa class. And please make a note of that. And every time, you won't be notified that, oh, the class is coming, the class is
Hmm.
coming. Like we now know when Gita class is, when Kathopanishad class is. So this class will be also ongoing, and we really get a lot out of this. And there you can freely discuss what's your taking on these classes, and what you understand. And there are some very good like known people that knows what they're talking about, and they will clarify this. And if they can't, then we will ask Jai Kumar ji for some guidance. But usually it's a very good class, so please remember that it is Indian Standard Time, 7 p.m. Saturday, every Saturday. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. And also, I will not be there in the class. Sometimes it helps, Sometimes it helps to talk freely.
Yeah, it for sure.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, we should have said it before everybody left. We'll do it again. Thanks. Haraji, go ahead.
Namaste, Mahodaya.
Yeah.
Couple of questions to you. Now, Sarvakshetreshu, I understand that um, that Atma is, there is an entity called Atma, which is from Brahmaji to a blade of grass. It covers the entire spectrum. Now, is it, can I concept it as something which is like a like an avarana, like a covering for the whole thing, and each one of these entities will get the power from that?
Yeah. So the way you can envision this is, first of all, it is the essence of everything. Essence means what? Like we studied in science, that every object is particles, molecules is electrons. I mean, molecules is will have nucleus, elements, nucleus, and then nucleus is protons, neutrons, electrons, like that. So if proton, neutron, electron is the essence, that you can say it's the essence of the entire universe. Essence of the entire universe is proton, electron, neutron, and nothing else besides. These are the only particles. Then they go further. We say no, that can't be the essence. That cannot be the essence, because we've been telling it before. Now scientists prove to themselves that yeah, that is not the essence, because these particles also, they can now peer through these particles, and then they figured it out, and that's not the end. So that's not the end means, what is the end? Oh, something else, positron, this, that, etc. And then what? Is that the end? For now, that's the end. For now, that is the end. And later on, somebody else is going to come up with a quark. And then they're going to come up with the God particle and this particle and that particle. We are going to have the last laugh. We're saying that you can keep doing this, and in fact, we will guarantee your profession. We will guarantee your profession. We will guarantee, even though we are not in that profession. We will tell you this profession is going to be unending, because you keep on finding more and more. You have to find. Why? Because it is part of Kshetram. We will guarantee your profession. You don't have to worry that your job is going to go. Your job is not going to go anywhere. Okay. Now, back to your question. Therefore, it is the essence of everything. Correct? Essence of everything. And the thing is, it is self-existent because it cannot depend on something else for its existence. Like the molecule depended on the atom for its existence, atom depended on protons, neutrons, and electrons for its existence. And then each particle depends on something else for its existence. Atma cannot be like that. Cannot be like that. That's a clue for me. That's a clue that we are getting into something which is ajaha, which is nityam also because it is self-existent. And so, then what about everything else? Is it avarana? Now you use the words. Yeah, everything else is gross. Everything is gross. Gross means what? It's visible to my eyes. Avarana is there, but first step is, do I see things or not? Yes, I do see things. So many things are there. So much variety is there. I am also Atma. That variety also I see is also fundamentally Atma. Atma Sarvagataha, second chapter itself, he said that. Okay. And so there's nothing wrong with that. I don't see any contradiction in that. See, first let's start with the basics. I don't see any contradiction in that. I don't see any contradiction. Okay, it's possible. I've taken everything is Nama Rupa. Shastram is going to say that. Everything you say that is out there, the variety. That variety is all Nama Rupa. It's all name and form, name and form, name and form. Atom is name and form. Then molecule. Put together atoms, molecule is name and form. Put together molecules, elements, name and form. Put together elements, compounds, name and form. And you get all these wonderful things. So I don't see any contradiction there also. Avarana. This avarana comes in because of my inability to go from what I see as this wonderful world to Atma. We went in this direction now. Atma, I went to the world. From world to Atma, I came, and Atma, I went to the world. But that's our understanding. But going, seeing more than what I see in this world, that's where I have difficulty. Most people have difficulty. So that's why Avarana is introduced. Why is it difficult? Avarana. Because the real thing is not presenting itself to me. Correct? It has to present itself to me. Somebody talks about migratory birds. And so and so color, this bird is very thin. It travels like this from Kanyakumari, it goes to Karnataka, it does breeding and then comes back in this next season back to Kanyakumari. If they say, okay, fine. But if you show me the bird, then that makes a difference. I can really understand what it is. So at best, it's all theory. But even before theory, it was avarana. Avarana. My vision is covered. So it is true. Avarana, by the way, avarana is not just true with Brahma Vidya. It is true with any Vidya. Correct? Until somebody opens my eyes to all these sciences, alphabet, language, okay, geography, humanity, so many subjects are there. Everything avarana. Everything is covered. Everything. Avarana applies everywhere, Haraji. Here also we apply it. That's how we appreciate. We should not, otherwise it becomes too esoteric, Esoteric means some Atma is there somewhere, some Brahma, etc., etc. We have to bring that Paroksha Brahma to Aparoksha Brahma. We saw that last time.
No, I use the word Brahma.
Yeah.
Because Atma is Kshetrajna from Brahmaji to the blade of grass.
Yeah, and I understood that. Yes.
Okay. Now, one more question. Now, this is a Mahavakya. kshetrajna and kshetra, and we are equating it to Tattvamasi. It is almost the same. Okay. Now, in Tattvamasi, it says that you and I, you, the Atma, and I, we are equal. We are the same. Now, when they say we are the same, that means I'm equating Ishvara to a samsari. So, is that correct to equate Ishvara to a samsari?
Okay. So the question is, what are the two things we are equating here? Mahavakyam is an equation. And so what are we equating is the question. So, see, a samsari jiva
Jiva. Yeah.
is a limited being. It's a limited being.
Mhm.
Very limited. Any which way you look at it, the jiva is limited. Any which way. Body, mind, senses, everything is working is great. But if it's not working, even if it's working, it's limited. If it's not working, also even more limited. Okay. And so limitation is very obvious. The jiva was born and the jiva is going to die. At least that the idea of a samsari means I was born and therefore I'm going to die also. And I have to protect myself somehow. All lifelong is gone protecting. Yoga Kshema, we saw that. This is life. Okay. Now, Ishvara is Sarvajnaha, Sarvavyapi, Sarvashaktiman, Sarvajnaha, omniscient. I am what? Alpajnaha, Alpashaktiman. Anu, in fact, Anu Shaktiman. Anu, Alpa also is a very big word, compared to them. So you have to find a word that means micro compared to Ishvara. So Alpa Shaktiman, Alpajnaha, Alpavyapi. If I'm there here, if I'm there in this room, I'm not in that room. And even in this room, if I'm on the chair, I'm not on all those places. So it's very obvious. If I'm down, I'm not up. And I'm never up also. And so it's very obvious. Therefore, how can we ever equate the jiva with Ishvara? How can this alpa vastu be equated to this mahan vastu? No chance. Absolutely no chance. And that is not, therefore, that is not the equation being made. The Shastram cannot have staying power if it makes ridiculous statements. Okay. Shastram means Shashana Trayate. It has to mean something to us. Only then it's useful. Therefore, we should immediately ask the question, tell me what two things are being equated. Not this Mr. So-and-so with this kind of body and this kind of life, with this kind of a history and a gotra and this kind of current occupation. No, that is not equated to Ishvara at all. Chance karya, there's no chance, right? Therefore, we have to ask, Tvam means what? Tat means what? What exactly do you mean by Tat? What do you mean by Tvam? Okay. Even though the finger is being pointed at me, you, okay, Tvam, Tat Asi. Finger is pointing at me only, not there, somewhere, no, you, like that. He's not doing. Sometimes people who have this eyesight, their eyesight is not perfect. So it looks as though they're looking there, but they're actually talking to you. Not like that. You pointing finger. Okay, you are that. Okay. Now that means this you has to be understood properly. It is not the you that I understand. That I so far I've understood you as. That is not the you that is being referred to. So far, the I that I know is not the I that is being referred to by the Shastra. Correct? So that is why all this discussion of Satyam and Mithya. Mithya is not referred to by the word you. The Satyam of me is what is referred to by the word you. You, the wave, means you, water, which is the essence of you, the wave. Waveness is needed. Otherwise, I can't talk to you. You can't listen. Wave. You can't listen, because to listen, you need to have a body, senses, everything needed. Only then you can listen. Therefore, hey, listen, my dear friend, Shrunu. Shrunu means Mithya only is being addressed. But Shrunu, listen to what? You, Swam, which is other than the body, which is other than the senses, which is other than the mind, which I already can appreciate that I am not the body. I can't be the body, really speaking, because body is jada. Body can't know anything. That you, which we are going to discover later, are that the water in the ocean. Ocean, the entire ocean is water, and you are also water. That essence, that identity must be understood. That is what we are making. That's the only their identity can apply. Identity is pure identity, not approximate identity. Approximately same. Like 3.99 is approximately equal to 4. No, not that kind of identity, my dear friend. This is identity means absolutely equal is to R. And so, Haraji, that's how we look at it. Thank you.
Can we say that it's the lakshartha that we look for, not the vachartha?
So Anuradhaji is introducing 2 words now. 2 words. What are the 2 words? When you say you are that, there is the vachyartha. There is the obvious meaning of the word you. Obvious meaning of the word, hey, you. If you say, somebody is going to respond. That somebody is you, that body, that person who has so many attributes and history to that person. That is the person is going to respond. That is you. That is vachyartha. That is the immediate meaning of the word you. Hey, you. That you is vachyartha. You are that. Ishvara. What is the vachyartha of Ishvara? Vachyartha of Ishvara is Jagat Karanam. Sarvajñatvam. All this is Ishvara. Okay. Creator of the world, all knowing, all pervasiveness, all these things. One who has those attributes is Ishvara. And that is the Vachyartha, literal meaning of those things. Literal meaning, Vachyartha. There is no identity possible. No identity is possible. So what she is saying is, Vachyartha, no, you have to move out of Vachyartha. You have to get into something called Lakshyartha. Means what? The you that you're referring to is not the you that refers to this body, mind, sense complex. It's something more than that, something other than that, still referring to the word you. Therefore, we have to refer to what is called Lakshyartha. The technical word in Sanskrit. Same thing. What we've understood, we know what it is. But it's called Lakshyartha. Then there is some Bhagatyaga Lakshanam and all is there, some technical words they use. How do you go from Vachyartha to Lakshyartha? You have to remove this body. And how do you remove the body? You have to.
Cognitively.
What should I do? I have to kill myself or what? No. You don't have to kill yourself. If killing is a solution, then this parampara will not be there at all. You keep your body, but cognitively, you see exactly like the wave is told. Hey, cognitively see that you are the wave. You don't have to remove anything from me. You don't have to remove the waveness from me. No removing waveness and all. That is what she's saying. One is called Vachartha and the other is called Lakshya. Yeah, thank you, Anuradha. Yeah, Vaidya, then Meera Narayana.
So Jaykumarji, the Lakshyartha of that then would be Satyam Ananda, Satyam Satchidanandam.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Atma is the Lakshyartha of Swam.
Yeah.
Satchidananda Atma, yes.
So Lakshyartha of Tvam is also Atma and Lakshyartha of Tat is also Atma.
Yeah, Tat is Atma. We will say that's why word Brahma is introduced. Lakshyartha of Tat is Brahma. Slowly, it's a slow transition, right? Sudden jump, we don't do that. And then what is Brahma, if you ask? Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. Another Mahavakya. So we can use one or more Mahavakyas to understand this. Okay. So that Brahma is not other than Atma. It can't be other than Atma. Therefore, Aham Brahmasmi.
Yeah.
Generally,
So
generally, we won't say that Atma is the Lakshyartha of Ishvara. We won't say it, even though that's a correct statement. Now, there's a paddhati for everything, you know.
Right,
That's
right,
it.
right. Then Aham Brahmasmi.
Correct.
Or I am Atma Brahman.
I am Atma Brahma, exactly.
Okay. That's that's very nice. Now, I had a question which you have mentioned just a few minutes ago and also in the previous class. So, Shashanat Trayate iti Shastram. So, what
Okay.
does that actually mean?
See, this word dhatu shas has some meanings. Okay.
Yeah.
Like shashan karte hain.
Yeah, that is it, rules.
Governance. That's the
Yeah,
ruling
governance.
governance. Shashan kaisa hai? America ka sashan and India ka sashan, can we compare? Like that, we can talk. Shasanam. So, governance. So, here also something similar. Shasanat, by telling us what we ought to know, by telling us things that we don't know and we ought to know. Okay. Shasanat, by being in that commanding position. Why commanding position? Because it has what I don't know, otherwise, what I don't have. Veda, in other words. Okay.
Yes.
So Shasanat, that word Shasanam is used there because unnegatable truth is there, my dear friend.
Uh-huh.
There's a truth that has passed through the test of time. It is not something that keeps changing version like this, like the operating system in the smartphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is why. That is why. Not like the nutrition, they keep changing this nutrition pyramid and keep on updating this nutrition, this pyramid. And
Yeah.
it's very tiring to watch all this. Tell me something that I should eat. Tell me something that I don't. And I'll just, that's why finally we end up with whatever my parents ate, I will eat. And they have survived all these years. Okay, I'd follow them. I'd say, all this thing you keep with yourself.
Yeah.
Not like that. This is the final word.
Yeah.
And even Swarga and all, it's also final word. Why? Because Swarga is good. You can go to Swarga. So that shows that if somebody tomorrow scientists come up with, oh, new galaxy and all that, our Hindus will never be excited by these kinds. We have some 14 lokas. You're talking about a new galaxy. Okay, fine. Fine. Keep it with you. Which loka it is? Have you named it yet? No, we're still going to come up with a name for it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then there's a mad fight. America will fight. People have given up the fight, I think. America will take all names belong to America only these days. And then, so, therefore, we Indians won't get excited with some of these things. Because of this, the vision is so broad. And so, oh, humans, life has been found in some planet somewhere far away. Oh, is that right? Okay, good. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. That's all we can say. Some
Oh,
curiosity.
yeah.
We'll watch
Yeah.
the news. We'll see what it's. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, even Lalita Sahasranamam has one Namavali which says Aneka Koti Brahmanda Janani.
Koti Brahmanda Janani, is it not?
Yeah.
And that means how ignorant I am, thinking that this is the only world and I am the greatest guy in this world also.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was very helpful, Jaykumarji. I appreciate it. And so the Shashanat Trayate, the Shastram, that makes sense. Now, one unfortunate thing is if you look in some of the old dictionaries, English language dictionaries I'm talking about, like even Webster and so on, to look at the word Shastram, it will say false scriptures.
What?
Yeah.
False scripture?
Yeah. Because
FAL.
this is the Christian view of Shastram.
Oh, no. Oh.
So they will say Shastra, you say Shastra or Shaster. They'll write it as Haster. It's very unfortunate, but this is the colonial period mentality, and some old editions still have that.
I see. Very into false scripture. What audacity, What
Yeah,
audacity.
yeah.
False scripture. We have, we know in Tamil Nadu and Kerala especially, we have something called Shasta.
Mhm.
Shasta Preeti. They will do something called Shasta Preeti.
Yeah, Ayyappa.
Those from other, like Premaji and all from Trishur, the Kerala, they will know Shasta Preeti, correct?
Yes,
Who is Shasta?
Ayyappa.
Who is Shasta? Ayyappa. Who is Shasta? What is the meaning of Shasta?
The one who is established in the Shastram, right? That is
Shasana
Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi.
Shasana Karta. Let's
Yeah.
start from the basic. Shasana Karta. One who does the Shasan, that person is Shasta.
It's called
The
Dharma
ultimate,
Shastra.
the ultimate overlord, ultimate lord is Shasta.
Mm.
Dharma Shastra.
Of course, he must be a Jnani. Ayyappa is a Jnani. Often they attribute Tattvamasi and all, they will say,
Yeah,
under
correct.
Ayyappa, they will say that.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's all.
Put it there. Swami
Huh?
Chinmayana made it, put it there, that road. Swami
Oh,
Chinmayana only
uh-huh.
asked go to be put up in the temple there.
The board which had the Tattvamasi at the bottom, huh?
Around
Interesting.
1970 or something, 60 or 70. 60 or
Yeah,
70.
interesting. Yeah, he had a lot of opposition. He had a lot of opposition. Chinmayananda. They told him, you can't teach all these things. This is all Guhya Vidya and all. You can't teach all this. And Chinmayananda is smart. He came up. You know what? Because all the sannyasis come and gang up on you. What do you do, And I said, you know what, guys? आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम् आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवच्चैनमन्यः शृणोति. Said, doesn't matter. This is even when how much ever you talk about it, it won't go inside. Ascharya only it will be. Don't worry about it. Only then they kept quiet, I think. Look at our acharyas, how they think and how. No, we have to learn so much from them. I found that to be very fascinating. Yeah, Meera Narayan, go ahead.
Guruji, this on the same lines we see this shloka in 7.5 also. Jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. That is also quoting and the connection between apara and para also is there in that. Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param. So the
May
connection param.
Param. Connection is there. May Param. So, yeah, direct equality is not there. Direct equality is not there, right? Is there a word that says equality there?
Jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. So I thought that I am that in all who sustains the entire world.
Prabhuta Mahabaho Yayedam Dharyate Jagat. Yeah.
So I am that Jivatma, something like that.
Prakriti Mem Param. Yeah, you can say. Correct. You're right. You're right. There is definitely the Mahavakya shades are very much there. Correct. So that's why we say how many Mahavakyas and all when they ask. Okay, some popular Mahavakyas are all there. I'm Atma, Brahmanda, you can quote. But there are many Mahavakya is any statement anywhere, even outside the Upanishad, like Bhagavad Gita is outside, which equates the Jiva to Ishvara.
Dhanyawad.
Yeah. Demaji, go ahead.
Okay. Could you elaborate on the Pujita Vichara?
Pujita Vicharaha. So, there is a word we use in Shastra called Mimamsa. Mimamsa. It's a technical word. Mimamsa means analysis of the words of the Shastra. That is Mimamsa, which is what we are doing, analyzing the words. And that analysis of words, Mimamsa, is defined as Pujita Vichara. It is Vichara. Analysis is Vichara, right? Vichara, inquiry. But it is Pujita Vichara. This is not Pujita, it is comes in the Parini Sutra, it is there 2000 years ago. The way the word Mimamsa is derived, the Pujitatvam comes into that. Because the Pujita is there right in the word itself. Okay? There is a sutra that defines it. So we can't give any other meaning. And so I found that to be very interesting. Pujita Vichara. Shankara uses that word Mimamsa when he introduces the Brahma Sutra, when he writes the Adhyasa Bhashyam. And Pujita. That is why there is no secular Vedanta. Look at that. Look at this. Secular Vedanta, secular Karma Yoga doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. Why do you need Ishvara for all this? Ishvara also is Brahma. I am also Brahma. Ishvara is Atma. I am also Atma. Therefore, there is you don't have to bring God into the picture. We can't accept that because that Ishvara has to be brought. The idea of Ishvara must be there. Only then the vision can go that far. Otherwise, it will be a dry subject. It will be even drier. Already it is dry, okay? And on top of that, without Ishvara, it will become very dry. And therefore, Ishvara is there because that whole process is like that. Somebody who understands it, is in the process of understanding, can ask, so why? Why should I believe in God? You can simply ask these questions. But so much Ishvara is there in our life for us to come to this point itself. So much prarthana, so much punyam, everything has brought us together like this, to study like this. To be exposed to Mahavakyam is not an ordinary thing. Therefore, we can't say things like, why God, how God, and oh, so what, I can figure it all myself. This is not possible. We can't figure it out ourselves. Not possible. Therefore, Pujita Vichara is very meaningful for us, Premaji. Very meaningful. Pujita means prayerful inquiry. Prayerful inquiry. We start with a prayer, we end with a prayer because it is subtle. And we need to stay with that subtle thoughts. And let us not get distracted by anything. It's all prayerful. Everything. And prayer is also meaningful. Belief in God is meaningful. It is not a blind belief in God and all that. No chance. Everything that's happening without, nothing is in my control, really speaking. But since still there is some order, that order is Ishvara. Even if there's a storm, they're able to predict the storm. That means there is order in that storm. Order. That order is Ishvara for us. That order is Ishvara for us. That is why this is very different from Abraham. Abraham says there is God, Son of God, and all they talk about, and then God wrote all this, God created all this. We don't talk like that. We say what exists is God. They say God exists. I say what exists is God. When I say what exists is God, then you have to think about it. Belief is not enough. You have to think, is there something that exists? Do you exist? Yes. That existence is God. So my God truly exists. There nobody can negate my God. If somebody says, no, I don't believe in your God, I will tell you don't have to believe in my God. You have to know my God. Yeah, belief is useful. Belief is very useful. All of us believed in God only. We still believe in God. But we are understanding that God. But if you don't believe in our God, it's okay. We are not upset by it. And you try to figure it out. Existence is God. You go figure it out if you're that smart. Existence is God. See, God is infallible. Means what? God cannot make a mistake. Correct? That's not our definition. The infallible is God. We don't go to God straight. We talk about what you and I can understand here and now. Then we say that is God. God created the laws of universe. No, cannot. No, sorry, that's not the way we talk. Do you know the laws of the? Tell me some laws. No, I know laws of electromagnetic laws. I know this law, that law, momentum, laws of momentum, and all. I know. Law of conservation of energy. Also, you know. Yes, I know. Okay, that law is Ishvara. Since you know that law exists, that's enough. That law is Ishvara for us. I don't have to look up for Ishvara. Ishvara is there all everywhere around me. The laws of this planetary motion. Yeah, you know that? Yes, I do. That is also Ishvara. That law, if you know it exists, it is Ishvara. Before they invented it also, he was there. Therefore, Ishvara always was there, correct? Now you are saying so-and-so Kepler came and Copernicus came and all, you're talking, you threw away all our Brahmagupta and all. And then you say they invented it. Okay, fine. Before they invented it, these laws were there or not? Yeah, there. Good. That's what we've been saying all along. That is Ishvara. That which always was is Ishvara. So I think it's a grand view. I personally found this to be very fascinating. That's why I could quit everything. Otherwise, this one, I mean, I'm a thinker. I mean, I do want to sort things out like each of you. And so I'm here. And so I hope, I am sure it'll carry us through all the way. All the way. That is a long answer to your short question. What is Pujita Vichara?
But that is the vision of Krishna, isn't it? So
Yes.
it is a reality. And another thing I was thinking of was we were talking about Shastra, that which teaches through discipline, like a mother, who informs and teaches a discipline, and through that the child learns. So Shastram is that. It is discipline plus, 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 plus. So whoever wrote that, Mr. Vaidyanathan, the dictionary, are at a different state of understanding, and they couldn't see that on that wavelength, probably. Right, Guruji? Am I right? And
yeah, so Premaji is very polite and very respectful of everything, So she's saying a different way of understanding.
But again, we have to grow, and that person is growing.
Yes.
Thank you,
yes.
Guruji. It helps because when we hear these words, we can interpret it in our own mind as we think. But you give a clarity which helps.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Prasadji, go ahead.
Namaste, Jaykumarji. I want to ask you just a clarification that I'm thinking right. Going back on the Lakshadha, so when we say Tattvamasi, which is part of Chandogya Upanishad, actually, is it at this point, is it relating the Ishvara versus Jiva, even though eventually it is the pure consciousness Sakshi in both cases, whether it's Jiva or but Tattvamasi, that the art is actually relating the Ishvara level, which is Saguna Brahma, versus the Jiva. Eventually, Lakshadha is basically implied meaning, which is actually the consciousness. So that's one thing which I wanted to clarify myself. And secondly, so even though the equations are there in Mahavakyas, but basically they're not really defining what is consciousness, what is ultimate, right? Because ultimate reality is beyond language. So it's just sort of a pointer I can think of rather than relating means like I understand what is Brahman, right? In certain language or in certain understanding in my intellect. So it's basically giving a pointer to me, okay, this is what it is. So Lakshat, the point of view. So this is second point which I want to clarify.
Right. So this Lakshyartha, we know very well. In general itself, we know what Lakshyartha is. A popular example given in the Shastra is saying that, hey, this boy is a lion. This boy is a lion. This boy is a lion means we say Annamalai is Singam, lion. Like that, there's a words that are used. Boy is a lion. Boy is a lion means Vachyartha. Vachyartha is meaningless. It's a wrong statement. Boy is not lion, in fact. How can you say boy is lion? Boy is not lion. Unless you're talking about a lion boy, lion cub, and then this boy is lion. Okay, that boy, that lion cub is lion. That's okay. That's fine. Yeah, this cub is a lion. Okay, be careful, not a cat. Okay, that is acceptable. But this boy is a lion. If you say, you got to go beyond the words and beyond the vachyartha, lakshya. That is lakshya. What is lakshyartha? Hey, there is something that's common between this boy and a lion. There's so many things that are not common between these two. This is a human being. That is not a human being. That's a lion. That's a wild animal. This is not a wild animal. Like this, until the guy grows up and starts picking up guns and all that. Then he becomes a wild animal. That's different thing. But this guy is a human being. It's a wild animal. And then Lakshya. Okay. So here also, correct, that key point that you mentioned is it is pointing to this Swarupa, pointing to the Swarupa of this of the self, Swarupa of Ishvara, correct? Pointing to, that's a key word that Prasad used, pointing. Because you cannot categorically say what it is. Because it is Nirguna. There are no attributes you can use to say. There is nothing like it also. You can't give an example. An example also is not there. Okay. So there is one shloka. Drishtanto naiva drishtaha. Drishtanto naiva drishtaha. Lokatraye guror. Okay, I forget the shloka. It is from one Shloki or what, I don't know. I need to look it up. Beautiful. It says, no example can be given to Guru. There, Guru word is used. No example is available. Because the subject is like that. There is nothing there is nothing like Atma. And therefore, you can't categorically point to it. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Whatever words you give out, the words just bounce back. Bounce back because you can't. There's nothing that can describe Atma. And therefore, that's what you mentioned. Implied meaning. Lakshartha, implied meaning. Implied meaning of the words, correct? Because no word can really point to Atma. It's only it is indicating. Indicatory words are linga, out of lingas are. And then implied meaning. When you take away all these other things, when you negate all mithya, what remains is satyam. Correct. So that's a good point, Prasad. It's a good point. You carefully understand.
Yeah, if I point the sun or moon, if I take the pointer as moon itself, then that's my ignorance, right? So otherwise, it's actually pointing to the moon. If I take this as moon, then that's where my ignorance lies.
Pointer is not good.
Yeah, I have to understand actually it's a pointer to the moon. So that's
Correct. You're right. You're right. They say, what is it? You go, you're traveling on the road and it says, Toronto, 100 miles. And that board won't take you. Neither it board is Toronto, nor will the board take you to Toronto. And you got to figure your way out. It says, okay, you're in the right direction.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Good. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Leave now, catch, carry on. You say this. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वामयविनाशनाय त्रैलोक्यनाथाय श्रीमहाविष्णवे नमः।
धन्यवाद।